Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. And most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that every day. And what do I mean by that? I say that because I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all of that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly that American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. It is Tuesday. Bill McIntyre, good morning, everyone. He says, it's Tuesday, you guys. It's a holiday week. This is the greatest times in business, in my opinion. Corey Buchan, what is up? I personally love this time of year, not because I'm going to go overeat and any of that stuff. I love this time of year because this is, as Ed Milet puts it all the time, this is separation season right now. This is that tried and true, what are you actually made of season. Because if you're like me and you're building your book of business or your business and the results just haven't came about, right? You've been putting in a ton of effort and it just hasn't got there. And you might be thinking to yourself right now, like, I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the year, right? Like, I'm going to take it easy. And I'm going to take time. I'm going to, leave early today. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm taking Friday off, all of that stuff. I get it, right? Like, I get that mentality if you're getting beat down. But frankly, this is that time to really put the pedal down because all of your competition is not doing that, right? So I'm not in a position in my growth wise, in my business wise, where I'm like, you know what, we're good. We're just going to, take some time off around the holidays. We're going hard right now. We're going harder. We're going to increase our output. We're going to increase our outreach. We're going to do all of that stuff right now because I know competition is at an absolute minimum right now, absolute minimum. And we're going to come through for our prospects. We're going to come through for our customers. I believe that this is going to lead to more meaningful conversations. And where I'm going with this, so I always used to do these little couple minute videos, and Tuesday was our Tuesday training topic. My thing is, on sales right now, you need to be working with your team about this because all of those opportunities, I have some prospects, you guys, that I've reached out to a minimum of 20 times this year, 20 times. I'm not going to inundate them every day, every week. I have a pretty respectable cadence going with a lot of them. I get responses. I have, the beginning of conversations. But like right now, if this week, I've gotten more responses from my outreaches this week than I have the previous 3. And you got to ask why. Why is that? I personally think it's because, well, A, I'm fucking really good at what I do. Beside the point. I'm doing this because they're actually getting the time to read what I'm putting out there. They're seeing my email come across because it's not being inundated. And they're seeing what I'm saying is I'm able to start conversations this week. And I know it is literally going to remain the same every week throughout this year. And then frankly, it's going to bleed into early next year as well, because, most people are going to celebrate the new year. They're going to come begrudgingly back into the office whenever it is. They're not going to fucking do anything that first week. They just got done relaxing for the previous couple weeks. Those are those times, you guys. Those are those times when you have to increase your outreach. You have to increase your output right now. There will be a day when you can take a holiday off. Maybe that time for you is right now. It's not there for me. It's not there for me at all. And again, fortunately, I got a gangster of a wife who supports me and all of my crazy, hectic, off the wall stuff that, some people might view and run with. My wife fully supports me, and she knows that I'm going to work around this time. I personally think if you're going to work in freight, on the execution side, I'm talking sales or operations, take your vacation in like fucking October and then in like February. Don't take it right now. This is the time, right? If you're a driver right now, again, I'm not telling anybody how to live their lives, but like this is where you're going to get that high dollar freight is going to be right now because someone's dropping the ball somewhere this week, you guys. Somebody is. And then you got to be constantly pushing it this time to get in there. And then this is where you can show why you're better than everybody else. I truly feel that way. I truly feel like that's what you got to work with your team. You need to really be present right now more than ever, right? And you know what? This might just be a last minute order that your customer is just looking for a rate, right? Like their customer, one of their biggest customers, i.e. the person you ship all the shit into, they might have reached out to them for a last minute rush order. They just need to see a price. They're going to make a decision next week, but you're going to be the one that responds to that, right? And then who are they going to think about when that job becomes a reality? They're going to think about you, right? And that's where you need to be. Like, that's where your mind needs to be right now. You need to be in that mentality of, because here's the reality, you guys. Some people, I guarantee most people are I'm going to use air quotes here, working remote tomorrow and Friday. They're all going to be working remote. What does that mean? That means most people are fucking mentally checked out already. Most people aren't going to respond to email, maybe not in a timely manner tomorrow because they're, working remote or whatever. Or on Friday, this is that time to slip in there and to provide that value to your customers and your prospects. Get them those prices, even if it's not for a load today. Get them that information so you know what, they can go on to their holidays if they're taking Thursday, Friday off, whatever that looks like. And you're the one who's there. You're the one who is providing those opportunities and those options for them, you guys. So work with your team. Don't take this time off if you can't. If you're like me and you're in building phase, you're in absolute execution mode right now, don't take this time. All right? Find another week or another couple of days to take a 4-day weekend if that's what you want to do. But I'm not doing that. Vacation will come one day for me. I'm in year 3.5 on this build, and I'm not going to stop because I'm just not in a position to where I can kick my feet up for a couple of days. And is that healthy or not? I don't fucking know. It's healthy for me. All right. But all I'm saying is right now, take this time to really push it with your prospects. Be present more than ever, even if it's just for a last minute rate, even if it's you not like just the fact that you're replying right now and nobody else is, it's huge. It's very, very big for you in growing out those relationships. So that's what I would work with my team on. And that's what I'd be doing this week because that's what I'm going to be doing, you guys. I'm going to be working. I did all my sales outreaches this morning. I'm going to get everything queued up. I'm going to do the exact same thing tomorrow. Even though I got a ton of out of offices today from my prospect list, but guess what? That is not going to stop me. I'm not going to view this as, well, everyone's out of the office. I'm not going to do it. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it tomorrow, and I'm going to do it Friday too. So, all right, let me see here. Papa Freight, good morning. Thanksgiving week. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Showing up with that real news. That's what we're doing here. Michael Baldwin, good morning. Carla Isted, good morning to you. Tracy St. Clair watching over on YouTube, good morning. Zach Huger, logistics is fun. You're right, it is. Logistics is life. Joe D'Angelo, what's up, brother? It's been a minute, dude. Preach on, coach. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, man. I hope you and your family have a great time. And Catherine Whitehouse says, you are so right. After 30-something years, I still find this week is the time to reach out because others are not. That's right, Catherine. I appreciate that. Tim Perkins, what's up, brother? He says, relationships built now. We'll see the rewards soon. Very, very true. Eric Ransom, good morning. It's rabbit season. That's right, man. That is right. All right. Speaking of that, I don't even have a correlation for that one. We are going to jump into some articles. And as always, you guys, all the links to all the articles that we break down on this show are uploaded onto the Freight Coach YouTube channel, especially up onto the audio only replay of this on iTunes and Spotify. It's going to be up there as well, you guys. New episodes are up. We upload that almost immediately after the show. So once we do that, you guys check them out over there if you guys want to read these articles. Tim Perkins says, especially not doing to moan to my shippers about this economy, yada, yada, staying high energy. People buy who they like and are consistent in their attitude. It's very true, man. It's very true. Shippers. And, and Tim, I'm glad you brought that up like that, because you look out there and 99% of the articles that are out there are fucking negative and people complaining. Oh, when is it going to recover? When is this? That's fucking irrelevant to the overwhelming majority of us. I can't wait for things to recover. I got a family to feed. I got bills to pay. I got shit to do. I can't wait for things to recover, because this is when you really separate yourself, when it's hard. All right. Straight up. Right now, this is the time. Not when it's easy. Anybody can fucking do this job when it's easy from a brokerage perspective. But right now, if you're onboarding new customers right now, if you're moving freight right now with new people, dude, just wait. When the market flips, that's when it's open season for you. Right now, though, blood's in the water. The sharks are going to fucking attack. All right. Travis Vaught, good morning. And Tim says, failure and adversity is where we grow, brother. Hey, amen to that, man. Amen to that. All right. First article we're going to break down. Speaking of failures, no, I'm just kidding. This article is from FreightWaves, and it goes, are we in an unprecedented parcel rate war? Before, I haven't read these articles. As you guys know, if you guys are tuning in, I don't read these articles prior. I get clickbaited, and then I'm like, I want to read that one on the show. And just off of this headline alone, this is what I think people are going to do, because you guys all saw the beautiful union deal that the UPS workers signed, everyone making a lot of money. And I'm a capitalist. Make your money, people. But what comes with those extremely high wages for some of these roles is extremely high rate increases, because that's got to go somewhere, you guys. Like, again, take this for what it is. I went to public school. Math isn't my strong suit. But if your operating expenses increase due to labor, your prices have to increase to offset that. So that's what you're going to see right now. And then if I was a non-union parcel provider, I would be fucking going for it right now, because you're seeing this. You're seeing prices increase from on the LTL side. You're seeing it even here on the parcel side. So if you're able to keep your prices consistent and not raise it, like the UPS people are inevitably going to have to do, because that perfect utopia of everybody making the amount of money that the union put out there. And just to throw this out there, you guys, I am not pro-union by any stretch of the imagination. But go after it and do what capitalism does and fucking take advantage of that free market. Anyways, back to the article here, you guys. Parcel delivery industry pundits predicted at the start of 2023 that it would be the year of the shipper. For the most part, that has come to pass. Now, as 2024 begins, indications are that shippers will be in even higher cotton than they were in 2023. For that matter, in the past 4 years, the two national carriers, FedEx and UPS, are pushing discounts that are extraordinarily in-depth and breadth, according to parcel consultants who have reviewed contract proposals presented to the shipper clients. At a minimum, one needs to return to the pre-pandemic period to see pricing as shipper-friendly as what is being offered today. Nate Skiver, founder of consultancy LPF Spend Management, said he doesn't recall a period of such heavy discounting pressure since the Great Recession. Discounts are being offered almost across the board, and to big and small businesses alike. Price breaks are being used to acquire new business and retain existing accounts. Small to mid-sized business that typically lack the buying power to qualify for sizable breaks have become eligible for discounts normally set aside for enterprise customers with big volumes. I think this goes on to say that this is one of those strategies that a lot of the larger providers use in down markets, is they are about revenue grabs, because these guys are publicly traded, right? And a lot of these publicly traded companies, their stock prices, again, I'm not a stock expert, but if you're showing positive revenue or like revenue growth, that's probably going to help sustain your stock price as opposed to the polar opposite of that. Discounts that were reserved for companies are now being given to shippers that spend less than a year than those larger shippers spend in a week. And you almost have to ask yourself, why? Why are they doing that? Right? Why now is everyone given that discount? The discounts that accelerated in August after the team. Oh, weird. Again, you guys, I don't read these articles, but the discounts accelerated in August after the Teamsters Union agreed to a 5-year contract. The Atlanta-based carrier set about recapturing 1.2 and 1.5 million daily parcels diverted to other carriers while looking to win new business. FedEx and the USPS are regional delivery carriers. Meanwhile, we're just as adamant about keeping the diverted business. Overhanging all of this presence of Amazon, new standalone shipping service, Amazon Shipping. Their rates are extremely competitive, according to consultants. Today's rate wars may seem amplified to the 2020 through 2022. Let me see here. In contrast, delivery demand today is quite soft, mirroring broader goods ordering weakness pervading the general economy, i.e., inflation. People buy less discretionary goods when they can barely afford to put food on their table, at least in most instances. Anyways, Skipper said that the UPS Teamsters contract situation is contributing to the current discount cycle as the carrier tries to win back business. However, the weak demand picture is likely a much bigger factor driving carrier pricing strategy. He said, to that end, the current environment would persist even if UPS and the union were not in a contract renewal year. Not every consultant is seeing widespread discounting. As the macroeconomy and e-commerce go, so goes the demand. The past I'm paraphrasing here, you guys, because there's a lot of dead stuff in this article. The past 2 plus years have seen a proliferation of new entrants into parcel shipping that was out there. The result of all of this is a rethinking of the popular mantra of carrier diversification. In the current environment, the diversification approach may be either stagnant or loose ground. I think what's interesting, though, is probably why you're seeing this happen is because of that contract. They know that, and clearly based on this article, UPS lost customers during that time. They know that UPS probably doesn't have the money to necessarily willingly reduce their rates. So it's probably a game of chicken right now. Who's going to go lower and who's going to like stop, right? Like who's going to hit their limit and be like, I can't go any lower than this. And then is somebody going to go in a couple of percentage points even lower on top of that? It's a giant game of poker, I bet. And it's interesting to see, right? But, again, you guys, this is a very real thing where you could see a company like UPS who has a lot of financial commitment to the labor force alone. And again, I'm not saying people don't deserve to get paid here. I'm not at all. But these are the consequences of stuff like this. When you see some of these numbers go out there and there is a massive rise in labor costs out there, competitors in the free market, which is the beautiful market we operate in, see that and they're going to go down a little bit and they're going to try and suffocate people because that's what competition in the real world looks like, you guys, is it's a price war out there. And some of these larger companies have the money to burn during this time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens through this. It's going to be, it's going to be very interesting to see here. This article was from FreightWaves. And then are we in a unprecedented parcel rate war? Tim Perkins says, yeah, these carriers are bending over to get freight, are going to have to stick to that rate long term. If not, the shipper knows you were just using them. Now you burn relationships long term. Stay consistent in transparency. Shippers understand what most are going through. Integrity goes a long way. Integrity is the only way to roll. All right, on to the next article we are going to break down, you guys. This one was from the fleetowner.com. And sorry, fuel prices were updated again, you guys, and it's down to $4.20 a gallon nationwide out there. I get this from the EIA, you guys, EIA.gov. Now, next article we're going to break down, fleetowner.com. how regulations affect the EV transition. Emissions conscious government regulations are steadily making their way through the pipeline of local, state, and federal agencies. These regulations will force consumers and fleets to pivot from less fuel efficient and diesel burning engines. But the further OEMs progress in their EV endeavors, and as a competition between China heats up, industry executives speculate whether those regulatory targets are attainable and what it will take to get there. Um, at the Motor and Equipment Manufacturers Association annual conference, Julie Fream, a MEMA president and CEO, moderated a panel on regulations and emissions featuring Dan Nicholson of GM, Stojkovsky. I apologize, Sandy, if you come across this episode. CEO of NA, Vitesco Technologies, and Ann Wilson, a SVP of Government Affairs at MEMA. The conversation focused on pain points in the industry of reaching 50% EVs in the US by 2030. Look at the regulations of themselves. They certainly drive us there, but there's a lot of things that have to go right with the consumers and with the infrastructure. I mean, to gauge realistic expectations of EV adoption in the year 2030 requires looking at consumers because they're the ones that have to buy the vehicles. Fucking earth-shattering information there. Anyways, what we're already seeing is more manufacturers and availability because a lot of consumers who want to buy EVs, but they don't. What they won't do is compromise on the segment that they want to buy. If they want a pickup truck, they want a pickup truck, and they're not going to buy an EV just to buy an EV. As this is true for consumers, this is also true for fleet owners, but it's less about wants and more about needs. A Tesla cannot haul what a diesel-powered truck can haul, and a Ford Lightning does not have the range necessary for a full day's worth of work. Excuse me. Regulations and resources. When customers think about the electric vehicle, they may think about range, capabilities, charging infrastructures. But with the OEMs designing the vehicles, they also have to consider current regulations and requirements about how the regulations could change. Excuse me. The U.S. Protection Agency and the U.S. Department of Transportation currently have regulations that OEMs are working off of. But those regulations have yet to be finalized, although Wilson said that the goal is to have them final by the end of the year. Once those regulations are final, they will drive EV sales and U.S. content. Wilson explained that those purchasing EVs made with the U.S. source materials will receive more tax incentives. The 2030 model year is only 5.5 years away, Nicholson said, and you don't know, and excuse me, and you know what the product life cycle looks like. You also know how long it takes to build battery plants. I think that this is a massive, massive pipe dream. I really do. I think this is a massive pipe dream that is purely politically motivated. Just follow the party lines on this stuff, you guys. When the Republicans take back control of the White House, all of this shit will go away. All right, let's just call it what it is. And furthermore, there is our infrastructure is not nearly ready to take this on. Not nearly ready. Not even close. Even with the Infrastructure Jobs Act bill, the $1 trillion that they earmarked for that. Even with that, we are nowhere near ready for this. Just look at the state of California alone. Look at the state of California alone. And you might say, oh, that's a couple of years away. There is a lot of work that needs to be done in a couple of years. And if you don't know how long it takes to actually build this stuff out, it's a major, major, major problem. It really is if this goes into effect. I do not ever stand behind the government telling us what vehicles we have to buy under any circumstances. I don't believe in the government telling us how to fucking live at all. They shouldn't tell us what to do in any stretch of the imagination. But when they're putting our supply chain at risk by doing this, because that's what that's going to do, you guys. Currently, we all know 80,000 pounds is what the typical load can haul. Our total gross weight, including the shipment. What's this? What does that look like from a battery? Well, how many charging stations need to be put out there. How long does that truck need to be charged up? How long is it going to take from there? So what used to be like a same day delivery or a 300-mile run between LA and Phoenix, for example, that might not now take 2 days. What is that cost of goods? Now, what does that increase to and everything else? You guys, there's a lot of fantasy world shit that gets talked about this when it comes down to EV and autonomous and everything. But again, it's spoken about the people who are putting these articles, who are being interviewed in these articles, you guys, ironically are fucking paid to advocate for this, right? Who would have thought? But the fact of the matter is, the state of California is the beacon for all things autonomous and electric. The state of California's current power grid can't even sustain itself right now. You have the governor of that said state telling people to not charge their electric vehicles. Okay. So if you can't even charge a Tesla car, how are you going to, where's the pecking order there? Right? Where's the pecking order? Are they going to say, oh, you can only charge trucks today? So that means that hypothetical example, we can only move goods on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays now because the power grid, you guys, this is such a pipe dream. This is such a pipe dream. And, the rules and regulations that they're trying to pass out there it's ridiculous, you guys, because you might look at it and be like, oh, that's like 6 years away. It's going to be quick. It's going to be quick before you go here. I am all about I am a massive fan of traditional fuel, because it's efficient. All right. And it works. And you know what? I haven't seen happen. A power grid. Okay, well, hold on. A power grid could go out and it could affect the fuel. But say you have a dead battery on a truck and you're getting it charged up, and then the power goes down for 3 days. At least with a diesel powered, you got a couple of days leeway if you got full tanks, right? That doesn't mean that you can't operate or anything like that. I just think that this is so far from reality, and I don't buy it. I'm all listen, if you want to have electric as an option out there for you to purchase, do you? I am all about that freedom. I am not about the government putting rules or laws in place that say you have to buy this, because guess what? Probably the overwhelming majority of people probably can't afford that. If you look at today's current economy, the majority of people out there probably can't buy a battery powered semi outside of some larger fleets. So what does that do? That eliminates small business. And I will never advocate for that under any circumstances at all. But anyways, you guys, that is the second article. I like the fleet owner crew. It's a good article. I just don't like the information inside of it. But I don't want them to take away. I want them to keep talking about this stuff, you guys, because you need to see what's coming down the pipeline, right? This is, elections have consequences, you guys. It really does. And if you're not for this stuff, you guys know what to do. Fleetowner.com, how regulations affect the EV transition. We don't have time to get to the third and final article, but I'll probably just save that one for tomorrow's show. So, and it's just about the market flipping and everything else. And we see stuff pop up about the market all the time. So yeah, you guys, that'll be it for today. As always, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network. That's how we are number one. That's how we have the top ranked podcast in the transportation industry, is because of each and every one of you. And the fact that if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. We'll be back tomorrow, you guys, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.